Joel Embiid. Is Joel Embiid getting a bad rap? Or does he really need to step up this season in the postseason? Have a great postseason to save his legacy. We'll talk about that and more next on Locked On 76.
You are Locked On 76ers, your daily Philadelphia 76ers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On 76ers your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is sponsored by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Do it today, people. Definitely do it today. Hi, I'm Keith Pompey, and this is my right-hand man, John Mitchell, and we are the co-hosts of Locked On 76ers. We got a lot to talk to you about. You know what? It's funny. We talked about Joel Embiid a couple of days ago, and what we said was that, Joel Embiid's health is probably the biggest question mark out there with the 76ers. And for me, until I know how healthy Joel Embiid is, I'm not going to make it seem like the 76ers are going to win a championship or they're favorite to win one. That's just me. And, Tim Legler, we all know Legs from his NBA career, for being a standout at LaSalle, but now he works for ESPN. And he basically says Embiid has to prove his value. He has to prove his value. And this season, and by proving his value is producing in the postseason. And he said, one of the quotes he had is, "You have to be as good for a 2-month stretch as you've been in the regular season, year after year." He has yet to do that. Embiid needs to deliver in the postseason, be out there every night, be consistent, and be 100%. He has not done that yet for this franchise. And when you look at it, at first you'll say, okay, Legs, a little bit of low-hanging fruit. It's easy for you to say that. Oh, anybody can see that. But the more you think about it, he's right. He has to prove that. And yeah, it's like and it's something that people are going to talk about until he does it. Because, Mitch, to me, his legacy is tied to that, to what he does in the postseason.
Yeah, and a lot of it is because, he looks so good during the regular season. No matter how many games he's played, if he plays a limited number of games, if he plays 39 games, he looks like the best player for 39 games. Now, some of those 39 games are, a November game against Charlotte, a December game against Detroit. And those are games you expect him. I mean, even when he's healthy, those are games he might even sit for. If they're on part of a back-to-back, you ain't gonna see him in either one of those places, depending on where his health is. But if he gets, it's all with Joel. It really is. It's his legacy now. Nobody's ever going to look at him who knows a scintilla of basketball and say, "Well, this guy is he's talented. He's extraordinarily talented." But at some point, the needle gets to the point reaches the point on the meter where it says you haven't won in the postseason, and that's where we are with Joel. It hasn't translated to postseason success. Now there's plenty of excitement as the 76ers approach this season because of the triumvirate of Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and Paul George, and rightly so. You should be excited for your team, but damn it, it's time to do it. We can't continue to, if you it will look bad if you're talking about woulda, coulda, shoulda. When Joel Embiid is no longer 76er, what could have happened? What should have happened if only he had shown up and been available and been healthy in the playoffs. And Legs is absolutely right. I mean, there's nothing more to say. The off season is over. The off season is regarded by everyone as the best off season of any team in the league. You extend Maxey, an ascending superstar. You add Paul George, and you go out and you get a backup center. You have a team. You added your Bousselet. We're still waiting to see how that works out for the team. But there's far more reasons to be optimistic about this version of the 76ers probably than any version since that 2001 team got off to that great start and then traded for Dikembe Mutombo. So, for Joel, I'm sorry, man. You're great. You've made millions of dollars, but you're going to be judged on what you do or don't do in those final 2 months of the postseason. There's 16 games that matter far, but there's 16 potential wins that matter far more than the ones you accumulate from October until the end of the regular season. It just is. It's just the way it is. No people. If Tom Brady wouldn't be Tom Brady with a whole bunch of regular season wins, just wouldn't. So it's on Joel, and I know it sounds like people focus on him, but it's his team. It's his team more so than any other superstar who hasn't won a championship. And that's where we are with him. What do you do when the grass turns green and the sun shines long? That's where he is.
Mm-hmm. And the way he points it out is like it's all on Joel now. He says because when you look at Embiid and his career and a number of injuries that have derailed his postseason, you can say the way guys have played alongside as those co-stars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number one, he has Tyrese Maxey,
Mm-hmm.
a guy that most people believe is unfazed by the moment, the
Right.
real deal.
And he
Now
is.
you go out and add Paul George. The talent is not the question. The talent is in place. So
Right.
basically, it's no more excuses in the past of you got to get me talent. I can't do it all by myself. I can't do this. Well, no, it's your focus has to be in staying healthy.
Yep.
And as you said, producing in the playoffs because the problem with the NBA, there are only about a handful of teams that you consider contenders, right?
Right.
And then you have some middle of the pack teams, but then you have some awful squads. And typically when you dominate the regular season like that, people start looking it up and seeing that like, yo, you're basically destroying the scrub squads. Not if that's totally true because he had some good games against some elite squads as well, and teams. But yeah, there's a plethora of opportunities to destroy people. And the one thing that you gotta look at is, his unfortunately for him, the thing is when we look at the greats, the great players, the Jordans, the Elijah Wines, all these guys, their stats went up in the postseason, their
Right.
numbers, whereas his have been on a decline compared to what he does in the regular season.
Right.
So yeah, this is vital for him. It is.
Yeah, and just look at that roster that he has now. I mean, even if he weren't on this roster, if somebody told you I was going to trot out a roster that had Paul George, that had Tyrese Maxey, and say Andre Drummond starting at the center, this should be a playoff team without Joel Embiid.
Yeah, but is it a championship team without Joel Embiid?
Right, but it wasn't even a playoff team.
Yeah.
Last year was a lottery bound team.
You're exactly right about that. You're exactly right about that. Yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah, so I do think, that it is incumbent upon him. I mean, this is 10 years in. It's all the marbles for him, and we can talk about that because let's be honest, we're going to be talking about Joel Embiid for the next at least 8 or 9, 10 months, hopefully. But right now, let's talk about eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your parts guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber and not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. So keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fits only available to U.S. customers. Thank you for making Locked On 76ers your first listen of the day. For your second listen, enjoy the Locked On NBA podcast. There is no offseason in the NBA, and Locked On NBA provides daily basketball analysis from national and local experts in 30 minutes or less. No one keeps you as informed and entertained as Locked On NBA. Available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
So, Mitch, it seems like there's two things that people talk about all the time, right? Joel Embiid's health, and in Philadelphia, it's the arena. Like, what's the latest? So, the mayor hosted, Jarrell Parker hosted a town hall meeting, basically, to get people in there. I heard there was a lot of people. Is what you expected.
Right.
There were people saying you got the pros and you got the. It was, I'm not going to say heated, but you know what I mean. People were very vocal and this and that. The thing is, though, she has yet to publicly come out and say what side or give an opinion or say if she's leaning towards approving the arena in Center City or not.
Mm-hmm.
But she's in kind of like a little bit of a pickle because there are a lot of people who believe that she will do it, approve it, just because of the black clergy, the unions, and other people who are supporters of her and helped her get elected. Really want the arena down there.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people think that is going to happen. Now, months ago, you talk to your sources, they told you it was going to happen. To me, I think that everybody wants it to happen, but I wonder if the 76ers, based off of everything they had to go through over these last 2 years, if they're going to decide to go to Jersey. Because my thing is, we talked about it. We're talking about $800 million in tax credits on a building that you want to build for 1.5 mil. Like, from a business standpoint,
makes perfect sense to go there.
Makes perfect sense. But you still have the belief that it's going to happen downtown?
Yeah, I do. I still I stand by the position I took months ago that it's going to happen downtown. And if you listen to Mayor Parker, I know she hasn't committed herself, but she has promised that a commitment is coming. So we'll take her for her word on that. I take her for her word on that. I think that if you look at the situation here in Philadelphia, like you said, many of the people, her staunch supporters, the black clergy, the trade union, they are, and they were out in full strength yesterday at the town hall advocating, for the construction of that arena on East Market. And I still believe it's going to happen in this city. And I wouldn't have said, things can change because when you're talking billions of dollars, an opinion can be put out there and then somebody can say, hey, something has changed. And that $800 million in Camden is extraordinarily enticing. So it's become very dramatic. You know, you keep your eye on city council, see what comes out of there. But my feeling is that it's interesting. You know, you want the very best for Chinatown. You know, you want that community to continue to thrive, and the people of Chinatown have obviously seen other communities across the city, and if you look just across the United States in general, marginalized communities are the ones who always lose out with the construction, with gentrification. And that's what we're looking at right here. Um, you know, I mean, nobody is more familiar with gentrification than the African American community. Because, you know, we've been moving. I mean, if you just look around Philadelphia, you can helicopter around Philadelphia, North Philly, uh, West Philly, the bottom, Girard Avenue. You know, places that were Black communities are now have, you know, premium apartment living and premium condominiums are gone, and there wasn't this loud outcry to save those communities. Now there is an outcry, you know, to save Chinatown. And again, you want the very best for Chinatown, but the mayor's also said, while she hasn't given a position, she said that her decision will be based upon what is best for the city. Um, Again, I covered the Washington Wizards in the embryonic stages of their arena being built, ironically, in Chinatown. You know, and I know there's studies that get put out. What will happen? You know, what will it look like? But the bottom line is, if you go to that area where back it was the MCI Center, Verizon Center, whatever it was called, down in D. I don't know what it's
I think
called
it's
right
the Capital One Center now.
Capital One.
It's always changing names. Yeah,
It's always changing names. I know it did. I know it did revitalize that area, and there's no denying that. You know, now and just recently they were talking about moving to Virginia, but that's now.
It's nice down there now. I mean, yeah. The problem is it's a very small. It's China block.
That's exactly.
But that's the problem. But as far as that, I mean, we went to I've been on the beat, but since I replaced shoes, so since 2013-14 season. And dude, from now when I go down there, it's hard to, the division stuff the way it was when I first got there, because what they did is they start to revitalizing it like blocks. Before it was like, okay, you had this area, but then it was a little Chinatown, but then it was the hood. Well, it ain't the hood no more. So they moved all those people out. Moved all those people out, and now they got all these Marriott properties and these restaurants, and it's kind of like swanky, so to speak.
Yeah.
But my question is to you, like when we look at it, because yes, it's on the edge of Chinatown, right, mm-hmm. where the arena is mm-hmm. Going to be, if they get it there. Do you feel like that they can coexist? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, do you feel like the you know what I mean? Like, do you feel? So. Yeah.
I mean, we have a historic Chinatown, and you have people who have invested their livelihoods there. For generations. So usually, though, my feeling from what I've seen as a casual observer of gentrification, when billionaires come and start talking about profits, the bulldozers are not follow shortly thereafter. And my feeling is that and again, we can just take Mayor Parker at her word. She said she's going to make the best situation, the best decision to benefit all of Philadelphia. She's going to do the best decision to benefit all of 1.6 million people.
Well, that don't sound good for the people in Chinatown.
So would
all of Philadelphia.
All of Philadelphia. So if you're a casual observer of that situation, that's what you're looking at.
Yeah, especially when you got the people at New Jersey trying to like just give you an arena,
and that's amazing.
That's the tough part. But
yeah, the Sixers are kind of in a catbird seat. You you have on one end you have the situation in Chinatown where you have the community doesn't want it, and then you right across the water in Camden, which could be East Philadelphia for all intents and purposes. You have somebody say, "Hey, here's this $800 million carrot," and the game with executives is how much money can I make, how much money can I save with team owners. That's all that matters. It's more important. It's actually more important than what happens on the court. But that's
It's
a
all
whole.
about making a profit.
It's
Yeah.
all about making a profit. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and we can talk about this a little bit more, right? In this next and final segment. Right now, I want to talk to you all about game time, and the Philly season is winding down, and there's it's not going to be easy to get tickets as they get closer to the postseason and as they get into postseason. So you should refer to Game Time. And Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands and thousands of tickets. You can get curated deals, make it easier to find the best price on great seats. You can get the Super Bowl, you can get seat views before you buy. And it's the lowest price guarantee with event cancellation protection, job loss protection, etc. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Just download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off.
That was a good discussion about that arena, and this and that. And the one thing that if we want to continue this a little bit, the thing that gets me is where now, and see, this is what I'm saying, where you said the Sixers are in the catbird seat. So what happens is everything sounds great where you say, okay, the Sixers are going to use their own money. The people in Chinatown will be upset. The yada is cool. They'll get over it. But now the Sixers are saying, okay, we're going to do it with our own money.
Mm-hmm.
But if y'all give the Flyers and them, because they want to build an arena or whatever, if y'all give them a tax break, the other sports teams, y'all give them a tax break for that. You have to do the same. Well, we want the same. And now again, the Sixers is one of those things where the Sixers will do it, without one. But if the other people get something, the Sixers want the same. Mm-hmm. And in a way, it kind of makes sense to ask for that, right? But at the same time, it's kind of sort of like if you're the mayor, it's like put you in a tough spot.
Yeah.
But if you don't do it, they have an option, like you said, to go to East Philadelphia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, which is, and there is no such place as on East Philadelphia, y'all, but we're talking about Camden.
Yeah.
Because the reason I laughed is because when I was in college, there was a girl who said, I'm from East Philly. And we was like, you from Camden? Stuff like that. But nah, she was crazy. But anyway, so so to me, it's kind of like, I don't know. But the problem is if the Sixers do move, then that's going to be on the mayor's legacy. If they do move, that's going to be on the mayor's legacy. And to be honest with y'all, I don't think that's something that she wants to deal with. And so there's a lot going on. There's a lot that they got to think about. A lot that they have to. They got to make a decision quick, fast, in a hurry, though, because the Sixers want to hurry up and start construction of this project because they want to be in there in a couple years, several years. So it's going to take a few years to build the daggone thing, right? Make sure everything is okay. So they got a lot of work to do, and they need to do it quick, fast, in a hurry. So For my man Mitch, this is Keith. I want to thank y'all for listening. I really do. Right? We want y'all to have a blessed day. But before I go, I want to say this. I want to thank y'all again for making Locked On 76ers your first listen today. Now go check out the Locked On NBA podcast where the season never ends, providing national expertise with a local perspective. You can find the link to Locked On NBA in the description so you don't have to search. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. And we'll be back to talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.